The ring hovered above Nene's finger when the chapel doors slammed open like a thunderclap. Marcus Adeyemi, the man who once swore he would never marry again, froze at the altar. The choir stilled. The twins, Maya and Malia, 2 years old in matching white dresses and pink headbands, turned from the flower bench and blinked at the sudden burst of wind and whispers. Sasha walked in. His ex-wife's heels clicked a sharp rhythm down the aisle of the community chapel in Atlanta's Little Lagos, where Ankara fabrics splashed color and Kent stoles draped every pew. Cameras were rolling. Aunties fanned themselves. Uncles leaned forward. The whole neighborhood had come to witness the rich man finally opening his heart. Sasha lifted a manila folder. "Stop this wedding." Gasps ran like electricity. Nene's hand didn't tremble. She stood in her simple ivory dress with cap sleeves, her hair braided and pulled into a neat bun, eyes steady. She had been a maid in Marcus's home, the quiet anchor who learned the twins' favorite lullabies and how to fix a leaky faucet with a flathead screwdriver. Today she was seconds from becoming his wife. Sasha held the folder like a trophy. "Marcus, you're about to marry your children's nanny without knowing what she hid from you." The pastor's voice was soft but firm. "Ma'am, this is a sacred." "I have proof," Sasha cut in. "Proof that Nene met me behind Marcus's back. Proof she kept important papers from him. And proof she planned all this." Maya's little hands gripped Malia's as if they understood more than anyone wanted them to. Marcus lowered the ring. "What papers?" Sasha glanced at Nene and smiled a small victory smile. "Why don't you tell him, Nene? Or should I?" For the first time something flickered across Nene's face, hurt, not fear. She looked at Marcus. "You know me." "I do," he said, but his voice sounded like a door half closed. Sasha set the folder on the front pew. "You swore off marriage because of me, Marcus. And now you're about to make the same mistake twice. Ask her about the courthouse, the night it rained." The room held its breath. Outside, a storm gathered over Atlanta, the kind that grazed the sky and makes distant thunder talk to itself. The choir director lowered his baton. A baby somewhere wailed and hushed. Every eye pivoted to Nene. Marcus swallowed. "Nene, what happened that night?" Nene's answer came like a thread pulled tight. "Everything you think you know began there." The ring, still between his fingers, gleamed like a question. 3 months earlier, there had been no wedding plans, no talk of rings or ceremonies, only silence and routine in a house too large for one man and 2 toddlers. Marcus's home sat on a hill overlooking a line of oak trees, windows big enough to reflect his loneliness. After the divorce, he placed his heart in a locked drawer and slid a chair under the handle. He told everyone, his mother, his barber, his board of directors, that he was done with marriage. He had money, a company to run, and 2 girls who needed stability, not scandal. He interviewed nannies with the same careful eye he used for hiring executives. Some arrived with references like gold plates. Others knew songs in 3 languages. None lasted. The twins cried. The house felt stiff. Then Nene arrived from the agency on a hot Tuesday. She wore a navy blouse, black flats, and the kind of smile that didn't push itself onto anyone. She knelt to the twins' height before even saying hello to Marcus. "Maya, Malia," she said like their names were a secret hymn. "Do you want to show me your favorite book?" Maya pointed to a picture book under the coffee table. Malia watched, waiting to see if this new person knew how to turn pages gently. Nene did, slow, careful, patient. When Malia's hair bow slid, Nene fixed it with soft fingers and asked permission first. Marcus watched from the doorway. He had seen practice charm before. This was something else. On day 1, Nene learned the clock of the house. The twins' nap at 1, the sunbeam on the kitchen floor at 4, the slow drip in the guest bathroom at 6. By day 3 there was a chalkboard by the fridge with pictures of routines drawn in simple lines: bath, book, bed, so the girls could point and feel in control. By day 7 laughter had climbed back up the stairs. She cooked without fuss. Not extravagant food, just warm jollof rice on Fridays, soft cornbread on Sundays, okra that made the twins' faces open like flowers. She spoke with her Auntie Igioma's low wisdom when the house was too loud and switched to gentle storytelling when it was too quiet. There were sticky fingers, bedtime bargains, and the honest way children test if love will stay. Marcus kept his distance. He thanked her, paid her on time, and retreated to emails. If gratitude ever tried to grow into something else, he cut it back. He remembered his vows broken in a courthouse hallway, Sasha's voice rising over lawyers' words, and the dry ache that followed him home. A storm rolled in on a Tuesday night, the kind that rattles bedroom blinds and makes little feet patter down hallways. The twins woke hot and fussy, cheeks flushed. Nene checked temperatures. She turned to knock on Marcus's door, but light was already under it. He arrived barefoot, eyes heavy, phone still in hand from a late call. "What is it?" he asked, throat tight. "Fever," Nene said. "Both." The pediatrician's line sent them to urgent care. The nanny car had a flat. The chauffeur was on his mother's side of town. The rain came harder. Nene wrapped the twins in small jackets and looked at Marcus. "I can take them." He blinked. "In this weather?" "I'll get them there fastest," she said, already grabbing a bag with their favorite book and 2 sippy cups because hospitals are long and children need anchors. "You follow. Bring their insurance cards." "Take my car," he offered, tossing keys. "I don't drive," she said, not embarrassed, just honest. "The bus on Peachtree runs late. There's a stop 3 blocks down." He stared at her for a second too long. "You'll run in the rain?" "I'll do what mothers do," she said, and for the first time, the word hung between them like a candle in a dark room. Nene tucked one twin to her chest and gripped the other's hand. She ran. Rain hit like knuckles on a door. Buses hissed. She waved and the driver opened the doors at a red light because sometimes rules bend for babies with hot foreheads. Strangers reached to steady them as the bus lurched. A man in a Braves cap offered a seat. Nene didn't sit. She stood and swayed with the street, whispering to the girls, singing the soft song she always used to land them on the shore of sleep. At urgent care, she filled forms with steady letters. Marcus rushed in soaked, insurance cards in hand, guilt on his face for not beating the rain. The twins were seen. Viral fever. Tylenol. Fluids. Watchful night. The kind of scare that is huge until it isn't, the kind that still reshapes a house quietly. "Thank you," Marcus said in the waiting room, the word too small for what he felt. Nene shook her head. "They are easy to love." He looked at her, then really looked. Not at her uniform or the checklist on the counter, but at the person whose calm had become the clock his days kept time by. After that night he fought a new battle, one he didn't want to win. He noticed the way Nene listened before she spoke. He noticed her laugh when the twins poured too much soap and made a mountain of bubbles like snow in July. He noticed how she never entered his office unless invited, and how she never let gossip in the door. He noticed peace. One evening he found her on the back porch drawing the skyline with Maya. Crayons lay scattered like confetti. "Do you draw?" he asked. "Only the things I want to remember," she said. He tried to keep the chair wedged against the locked drawer of his heart. But one Saturday at a community festival in Little Lagos, with music in the air and the twins asleep in a double stroller, he walked beside Nene and realized the chair had slipped. "I'd like to take you to dinner," he said, voice careful. "I don't date my employer," she answered, voice kind. He nodded. "I understand." He meant to leave it there. But respect has a way of becoming invitation. Weeks passed. He asked again, not with pressure but with presence. A handwritten thank you card after the twins' birthday, a seat saved at a school concert, a conversation that kept going long after the dishes were done. He met her Auntie Igioma, who studied him over a pot of egusi and said, "If you love my girl, you must love her dignity too." He did. He asked again. This time Nene said yes. They took it slow, always careful, always mindful of the twins' small world and the community's big eyes. When Marcus finally decided to propose, he didn't choose the tallest rooftop or a stadium screen. He chose the living room where the twins were building towers from blocks and Nene was seated cross-legged on the rug. He knelt not because grand gestures fix broken promises, but because simple vows keep new ones. She said yes with tears and the twins clapped without knowing why clapping felt perfect. Everything moved toward the wedding like a river that knows the ocean's location by instinct. Until the night the anonymous envelope slid under Marcus's office door. Inside were photos. Nene, late evening, hood up against the drizzle, meeting Sasha outside the Fulton County Courthouse. A single line typed on plain paper. "Ask her about the papers." Marcus held the photos a long time. He did not ask right away. He weighed trust against fear and postponed the question until a moment he thought would never come. Then Sasha crashed the wedding. And now, at the altar, with thunder rolling, with the twins clutching each other, with the whole neighborhood watching, Sasha's words spread like ink in water. Ask her about the courthouse, the night it rained. Nene lifted her chin and met Marcus's eyes. "If you want the truth," she said, "we'll need to open what your ex-wife closed." Sasha's smile faltered. Marcus's grip tightened around the ring. "What did she close?" Nene looked past him toward the twins. "The papers weren't about me," she said softly. "They were about them." The choir inhaled as one. The pastor lowered his book. Outside, the first raindrops began, soft and sure. "What papers?" Marcus asked again. Nene took a breath. The guardianship Sasha tried to reclaim. The chapel erupted, half in shock, half in questions, while the ring hovered between the past and the future, and the storm found its voice. Thunder rolled again, closer now, as murmurs rippled through the chapel. Babies fussed, chairs scraped, and every head tilted toward Nene as if the answer sat, whole and glowing, on her tongue. The guardianship? Marcus asked, each syllable measured. Explain. Nene nodded once, calm in the storm. 3 months ago, after the twins' fever, you called me into your office. You thanked me. You also said you didn't want any more surprises in your daughters' lives. She glanced at the girls, Maya's thumb at her lip, Malia's eyes wide and glassy with confusion. That night, after they fell asleep, the doorbell rang. Sasha's eyebrow arched. And I was standing there, wasn't I? You were, Nene said evenly. With a courier. He held a packet marked, Emergency Consent and Temporary Guardianship Transfer. You told him to take it back. Marcus's jaw worked. He remembered. The courier had looked past him toward the staircase where small feet sometimes appeared and said, Sir, it's standard. In case of emergencies, if the nanny is alone. Marcus had still refused. He would not sign anything that had Sasha's name anywhere near guardian. I sent the courier away, Marcus said now, voice low. Yes, Nene replied. But he didn't go far. The chapel quieted. Even the storm seemed to lean in. 2 days later, Nene continued, the pediatrician's office called to confirm a new authorization, one you hadn't signed. The form had your name on it, but the handwriting wasn't yours. It also named a secondary guardian, to be notified in emergencies. That name was Sasha. Nene looked at the woman in the aisle. Only a parent or a court can do that. Marcus's shoulders squared like a man who had been hit in a familiar place. Forged, he said. Forged, Nene agreed. I took the bus to the courthouse that night, the night it rained. Not to meet anyone but to find out how a paper like that slides through a city full of rules. Sasha snorted. And you just walked into Fulton County like a detective? I walked in like a woman who knew 2 toddlers had to be safe, Nene said, and the aunties in the third pew hummed their approval under their breath. She set her palms lightly on the rail of the first pew, as if anchoring the story to something solid. At the clerk's window, a woman named Denise looked at the printout and frowned. The time stamp didn't match the day the pediatrician received it. She told me a temporary guardianship petition had been filed that afternoon. The petitioner asked the court to recognize a previous agreement from your marriage, Marcus, one that would let the children's mother reclaim partial guardianship in unusual circumstances. The children's mother, Marcus repeated, the words heavy. Nene's gaze softened. We both know that's complicated. Whispers rose. Everyone in Little Lagos knew pieces of the Adeyemi story, the parts spilled out in barbershops and beauty salons, the parts kept quiet in living rooms. The luxury company, the glittering fundraiser photos, the sudden divorce. Not many knew the private grief, the years of failed treatments, the quiet compromise, the day a surrogate carried for them so they could have a family. Even fewer knew the legal knots tied in that decision. Parentage orders, adoption filings, names on birth certificates that felt both true and fragile. During the divorce, Nene said gently, the court granted you sole legal custody, Marcus, pending review of conditions. Sasha was listed as a party of interest, but not a legal parent until she completed a post-birth adoption process she never finished. Sasha's mouth tightened. I was their mother in every way that mattered. Nene didn't argue. What mattered to the court were papers. And papers were what you tried to push through again, under a temporary change rule, without finishing what you were supposed to finish 3 years ago. Sasha lifted the manila folder again as if its weight could quiet the room. He's a CEO with more money than most cities, she shot back. He can hire a stadium full of lawyers. I had to move fast. Nene's eyes didn't leave her face. You moved crooked. The pastor cleared his throat softly. Let her finish. Nene dipped her chin in thanks. Denise, the clerk, told me the petition was flagged but not yet assigned. She also said someone had already called the judge's chambers from a blocked number and pressed for an immediate ex parte order. She warned that if an order was signed after hours and an officer served it, the twins could be taken for a transition evaluation. Nene looked at Marcus. She told me you needed to get your attorney there first thing in the morning. Marcus's fingers closed over the ring until the metal bit. And then you went home. I stepped into the rain, Nene said. And Sasha stepped out of the shadows. The room tilted forward. She'd been waiting near the steps under the overhang, Nene went on. Umbrella up. Coat belted. She said, "You care about those girls? Then tell Marcus to call me." She said she could still come back into the picture, and that everything would be easier if I helped smooth it. Nene's voice didn't change, but something like steel slid under the words. She also said that if I didn't help, she knew people who could ask questions about my immigration status that would complicate my life. A sound like a hiss moved through the pews. In the back, an older man shook his head slowly. "A threat." Nene nodded. "A threat." She lifted her chin. "I told her I had nothing to hide. I told her to call her lawyer. And I told her to stop using the twins to fix what she broke." Sasha laughed once, a short, sharp sound. "And then what? You scolded me into good behavior?" "I walked to the public defender's office," Nene said, unflinching, "because Denise said if I believed a fraud was being attempted that could harm children, any adult with relevant knowledge could file an affidavit to be attached to the petition. A legal assistant named Terrence sat with me and typed my statement word for word. He notarized it. He stamped every page." She looked at Marcus. "That is what I hid from you, not because I wanted secrets but because I didn't want to burden you until there was something real to bring." The affidavit triggered an internal review. The judge scheduled a hearing. "That hearing happened last week." Marcus blinked. "Last week?" "I went," Nene said, "with your attorney's junior associate, because she called me after the clerk flagged my affidavit. She said they didn't want to pull you out of a board meeting until they knew what the judge would do." The judge read my statement, read the file, and asked one question that settled the room. Nene turned her eyes to Sasha. He asked whether the adoption had ever been completed. The answer was no. He asked whether the temporary petition relied on a consent order that no longer existed after the divorce decree. The answer was yes. He dismissed the petition and sealed the record, pending a warning to stop any further attempts until the proper process was followed. Sasha's knuckles went white around the folder. "Lies. Court records are not lies," Nene replied. Marcus exhaled as if he'd been holding air since the night the envelope slid under his door. "Why didn't you tell me immediately?" "I meant to," Nene said. "I came to your study that evening. You were on a call with an investor and then you went upstairs to read to the girls. When you came down you looked light. For the first time I saw you laugh without forcing it. I thought, one more day. And then the invitation to the chapel went out, and everything moved so fast I wanted the dust to settle before I brought more wind." Auntie Igioma rose from the fourth pew, clutching her handbag like it held something important. "It was not secrecy, it was strategy," she called gently, accents softening the edges of her English. "But if truth must be shown, truth is ready." She lifted her bag. "I told my girl to carry copies on her wedding day because a woman should never walk into a storm with empty hands." Nene blinked, surprised. "Auntie, you thought I didn't notice you sliding papers into my Bible?" Auntie Igioma smiled tightly. "I am old, not blind." She shuffled forward. The usher helped her up the steps. She opened the handbag and drew out a large, thick envelope, its flap sealed with a red sticker from the clerk's office. She handed it to the pastor. "Open, Father." Sasha took a step down the aisle. "Don't you dare." But the pastor had already broken the seal. He slid free several stamped pages, the blue notary embossment catching the chapel light. He read in silence, lips moving, eyes widening. "What does it say?" someone whispered. The pastor looked up, voice steady. "It says the petition to alter guardianship was dismissed. It says further attempts to misrepresent parental status will be referred to the district attorney's office." Electricity fired across the room, gasps, low shouts, a chair tipping and scraping. Sasha lifted her chin, defiant. "So the nanny writes a story and a clerk stamps it. Do you think that scares me?" Nene didn't answer. She turned to Marcus instead. "I did meet her that night," she said, soft but clear. "I met her to look her in the eye and say the twins are not bargaining chips. I did keep papers from you, for 48 hours, so I could make sure they were real and the judge had seen them. I would never ever keep your daughters from you." Silence fell again, but it was a different silence, full, not empty. Marcus's grip loosened. The ring settled in his palm. From the back of the chapel, two uniformed deputies appeared in the doorway, rain beads glittering on their hats. Heads turned. The ushers stiffened. For a heartbeat, no one moved. Sasha smiled, slow and triumphant, as if she'd been waiting for this part. "Finally," she said, and she pivoted toward Marcus. "I told you it wasn't over." The deputies walked down the aisle, boots thudding softly on the runner. The taller one reached into his breast pocket and unfolded a paper. He cleared his throat, eyes scanning the pews. "Is Miss Sasha Adeyemi present?" he asked. Sasha's smile fractured, just a hairline crack. "What?" The deputy lifted the paper higher. "Ms. Adeyemi, we have an order to escort you to the courthouse to answer questions about a document fraud investigation connected to a sealed family case. You are not under arrest at this time, but you are required to come with us." Gasps ballooned into a roar. The choir director dropped his folder. Maya began to cry. Malia clutched her sister tighter. Marcus stepped instinctively toward his daughters. Sasha's hand shook around the manila folder. "This is ridiculous," she snapped, voice too loud, too bright. "Marcus, tell them." But the taller deputy raised a calming palm. "Ma'am." The storm outside cracked open with a flash, white across the stained glass, as the chapel held its breath and the deputies waited for Sasha's answer. The silence in the chapel was suffocating. Even the rain outside seemed to hold its breath. All eyes were fixed on Sasha as the deputies stood, patient but firm, waiting for her to comply. Her voice broke through the tension like shattered glass. "You can't do this. I'm the children's mother," she shouted, clutching the folder to her chest. "This is a mistake. Marcus, say something." But Marcus didn't move. He stood still beside the altar, his eyes dark with exhaustion and disbelief. For a moment, it was as if all the noise and chaos around him had blurred into silence. The man who once controlled empires and boardrooms was now watching a woman he once loved unravel before his eyes. "Ms. Adeyemi," one of the deputies said calmly, "we're not here to arrest you. You're being summoned for questioning. Please come quietly." Sasha's expression hardened. "I know my rights," she snapped, pulling back. "You think I'll walk into some courthouse so you can twist my words? No." Before anyone could react, she bolted toward the side exit. The crowd gasped, chairs scraped, people ducked aside. Auntie Igioma shouted, "Yezu," as Sasha's heels clattered against the tile floor. The deputies ran after her, their radios crackling. The heavy doors swung open with a bang, letting in a rush of wind and rain as Sasha disappeared into the storm. Marcus instinctively took a step forward, but Nene reached out, her hand trembling slightly, and stopped him. "Don't," she said softly. "Let her go. She's made her choice." The pastor was frozen with the documents still in his hands. For a long moment no one knew what to do. Then Auntie Igioma spoke, her voice breaking the silence. "Father, please, finish the ceremony. This day should not end in shame. It should end with truth." But Marcus couldn't move. His mind was a storm all its own. His ex-wife, the woman who once swore to love him forever, had just tried to sabotage the one person who had brought peace back into his life. He stared at the wet stain where Sasha's heels had left marks on the chapel floor. He looked up slowly at Nene. Her eyes were calm but heavy, filled with quiet strength. The same strength that had carried his children through fevers, tantrums, and nights when grief almost took him apart. The pastor cleared his throat gently. "Son, what would you have us do?" Marcus turned the ring in his hand, the diamond catching the low light. For a second he seemed unsure, like he was trying to find himself again after a long, brutal fight with memory. "Give me a moment," he said finally, voice low. He walked away from the altar, down the aisle, through the murmuring crowd, out into the rain. The doors shut behind him with a dull echo. The storm hit him full in the face. The wind was cold, heavy with the smell of wet asphalt and thunder. Marcus stood there for what felt like hours, but was only a few minutes, letting the rain wash over him. His mind spun through everything. His past with Sasha, the humiliation of betrayal, the pain of divorce, the nights he swore he'd never love again. Then came the image of Nene, kneeling to tie Maya's shoe, laughing softly when Malia smeared porridge on her chin, sitting on the porch humming Yoruba lullabies when the house was quiet. He saw the woman who had rebuilt what another woman had broken. Behind him, the chapel door creaked open. Nene stepped out into the rain. Her white dress clung to her skin, her braids soaked. She didn't run to him. She simply walked until she was standing a few feet away. "Marcus," she said quietly. He turned. The storm around them rumbled like the echo of something ancient. Pain, love, rebirth. "I never wanted this drama on your wedding day," she said. "But if I had to choose between peace built on lies and chaos that clears the truth, I would still choose this moment." He stared at her, water dripping from his lashes. "You could have left," he said. "You could have quit when things got messy." Nene smiled faintly. "And leave two little girls who think I'm their safe place? No, Marcus. I'm not like that." For the first time he felt something shift inside him, a weight sliding off his chest. "You didn't just take care of my house," he said slowly. You took care of my soul. She blinked, startled by the depth in his tone. He stepped closer, close enough to see the raindrops trembling on her eyelashes. When Sasha left, I told myself love was a business deal that failed. But you, his voice cracked slightly, you taught me that love isn't something you earn. It's something you nurture. Nene looked down, emotion threatening to spill from her calm. You don't have to say that, she whispered. Not now. But Marcus reached for her hand, cold and trembling. I do, he said. Because I want this ring on your finger, not because I'm lonely, but because I'm finally ready. The door behind them opened again. Auntie Ijeoma and the pastor stepped out, the rain pattering on their umbrellas. The twins peeked between their skirts, wide-eyed. Auntie Ijeoma smiled through tears. If you're going to finish this wedding, do it now before thunder changes its mind. Laughter rippled through the doorway. Even in the rain, the crowd had gathered, holding up umbrellas, some phones out, others holding him books like shields from the storm. Marcus turned to the pastor. We'll finish it here. The pastor chuckled, shaking his head in disbelief. In the rain? In the truth, Marcus said. And so, under the gray sky, with thunder rolling and raindrops falling like blessings, Marcus Adeyemi slid the ring onto Nene's finger. I promise, he said, voice steady, to honor the peace you've brought into my life, to protect you as you've protected my children, and to love you without fear. Nene's lips trembled. And I promise, she whispered, to stand beside you, not behind you, not beneath you, but beside you for as long as life allows. The crowd erupted in applause. Some cheered, some cried. Aunties danced despite the puddles. The twins squealed with joy, clapping their small hands, their curls glistening in the rain. It was a wedding no one in Little Lagos would ever forget. As the ceremony ended, Marcus wrapped his jacket around Nene's shoulders and whispered, Let's go home, Mrs. Adeyemi. She smiled, her heart finally resting after years of running from pain she hadn't caused. Home, she echoed softly. But even as they walked to the car, a shadow moved in the distance, under a street lamp across the parking lot. A familiar figure watching through the downpour. Sasha. Her hair was plastered to her face, mascara streaked down her cheeks, her hands trembling as she clutched her phone. The red and blue flash of police lights reflected in her eyes. She wasn't done. Not yet. As Marcus helped Nene into the car, Sasha whispered into the phone, voice shaking with fury, If he thinks he's taking everything from me again, he has another thing coming. The storm might have passed, but the real thunder was only beginning. By morning, the rain had washed the city clean, but the peace inside Marcus's mansion felt fragile, like glass that had just stopped trembling after a quake. Nene woke before sunrise, slipping quietly out of bed. The room smelled faintly of rain and roses from the flowers Auntie Ijeoma had sent the night before. She tied her robe and padded softly to the twins' room. Maya and Malia were still asleep, tiny curls pressed against their pillows, their breathing gentle and synchronized. Nene stood by the door watching them for a moment. Her heart softened. Whatever storms waited outside, these girls, this peace, was worth every scar. She bent, kissed their foreheads and whispered, I'll always protect you. Downstairs, the house staff moved quietly, still cautious after the chaos of the wedding day. 2 security guards stood near the gate now, Marcus's new precaution after Sasha's outburst. When Nene entered the kitchen, Marcus was already there, shirt sleeves rolled up, pouring coffee. He looked tired but composed, his expression the kind of calm that only comes after you've survived a hurricane. Morning, Mrs. Adeyemi, he said with a half smile. She chuckled softly. Still getting used to that name. Get used to it fast, he said, stepping closer. Because I plan to say it every day. They shared a small, quiet smile, one that didn't need words. But just as Nene reached for her cup, Marcus's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his expression changed instantly. What is it? She asked. He frowned, scrolling through a series of text messages. It's from the company's lawyer. Sasha showed up at the main office this morning. Nene froze. The same Sasha who ran from the chapel in handcuffs? Marcus nodded grimly. Apparently she wasn't arrested. The deputies only brought her in for questioning. She was released at midnight. And now? She's trying to file for an emergency injunction. Nene blinked. On what grounds? He sighed, rubbing his temple. She's claiming I married you out of manipulation. That you exploited me emotionally while under my employment. She's asking the board to freeze my personal trust until a full review is conducted. Nene's breath caught. She's still fighting. Marcus placed the phone down. That woman doesn't stop when she's angry. she destroys. For a long while they stood in silence, the clock ticking between them. Finally Nene spoke softly, "She's desperate, Marcus. That means she's running out of moves." But Marcus didn't look reassured. "She knows how to play the media," he said. "You'll see headlines before noon, 'Rich CEO marries Maid, company board shocked.'" He wasn't wrong. By midday social media was a storm of its own. Screenshots, memes, gossip. A trending hashtag on Twitter read, #Maid to Madam. And the comments were brutal. Of course she married him for money. She's smart, secured the bag. I give it 6 months before the prenup war starts. Nene scrolled through them in silence, her stomach tightening. It didn't matter how kind she'd been, or how much love she gave those twins. The internet didn't care about truth. Wanted drama. Marcus came into the living room holding a stack of printed emails. "Sasha's PR team is behind this. They're feeding the press stories about how you took advantage of a broken man." Nene looked up, her eyes steady despite the pain. "Then let them talk. The truth will outlast noise." But Marcus wasn't calm anymore. "You don't understand. I've worked my entire life for this company. If the board believes her even for a second, they can vote me out. And if that happens, then we'll start again," Nene said softly, cutting him off. He turned, surprised. She stepped forward, placing her hand over his chest. "You gave me and the girls peace. If that cost you a company, then we'll rebuild from love, not fear. You're more than your money, Marcus." Her words disarmed him. He stared at her for a long time before whispering, "You make it sound so easy." "It's not," she said with a small smile. "It's faith." The moment was quiet, until the front gate buzzer rang. One of the guards answered, then looked toward the house. "Sir," he called through the open door, "someone's here to see you." Marcus frowned. "Who?" The guard hesitated. "A woman, says her name is Sasha Adeyemi." The name hit the air like a spark. Marcus stiffened. "Let her in." Nene's eyes widened. "Are you sure?" He nodded slowly. "If she wants a war, I'd rather it happen under my roof than behind my back." A minute later the front door opened, and there she was. Sasha looked nothing like the fiery woman from the chapel. Her hair was unkempt, makeup streaked, clothes damp from the drizzle outside. But her eyes, those sharp, calculating eyes, still carried fire. "You didn't think you could just erase me, did you?" she said coldly. Marcus didn't flinch. "What do you want, Sasha?" She laughed bitterly. "What's mine? My daughter's. My reputation. My life back." "The court already ruled," he said firmly. "I don't care what the court said," she snapped. "You think this," she waved toward Nene, who stood quietly near the stairway, "is permanent? You think marrying your maid makes you look noble? You look weak." "Watch your mouth," Marcus warned, his voice low. Sasha smirked. "Or what? You'll call your new wife to defend you? Tell me, Nene, does it feel good taking what another woman built? My husband, my home, my family." "I didn't take anything," Nene interrupted quietly. "You left it behind." That made Sasha pause. Just for a second. "You left him," Nene continued, "when all he wanted was peace. You left your daughters when all they wanted was a mother who stayed. Don't come here pretending we stole anything. We just cleaned what you abandoned." The room went silent. Even the ticking clock seemed to hold its breath. Sasha's jaw trembled, fury warring with something else, something close to regret. But pride wouldn't let it win. "You think you're better than me?" she hissed. "No," Nene said softly. "Just different." Sasha laughed once, sharp and hollow. "We'll see about that." She reached into her bag and pulled out a sealed brown envelope. "I filed this morning. You'll be served soon. Petition to reopen custody discussions and a request for full investigation into your marriage." She tossed the envelope onto the coffee table and turned toward the door. Before she stepped out, she paused. "You might have the ring now, Nene," she said, voice dripping with venom, "but I'll make sure it doesn't stay on your finger long." Then she was gone, the echo of her heels fading down the marble floor. Marcus stood motionless. His face, usually composed, was tight with worry. Nene reached out. "Marcus?" He exhaled, rubbing his face. "She's not giving up. And if she drags this through the court and the press, she'll expose herself," Nene finished. He shook his head. "You don't know Sasha. She's dangerous when she's desperate." Nene's gaze hardened. "Then so am I, when I'm protecting my family." Her words landed like thunder. Marcus looked at her, really looked, and saw something in her eyes he hadn't seen before. Quiet fire, the kind that doesn't roar but never dies out. Outside, the rain began again, steady and rhythmic, tapping against the glass as if the heavens themselves were watching. In that moment, neither of them knew how dark the days ahead would get, or that Sasha's next move wouldn't be in court at all. It would be something far more personal. The next few days moved like ghosts through Marcus's mansion. Quiet, heavy, filled with an invisible tension that no one wanted to name. Sasha's visit had left a mark, and although she was gone, her presence lingered like a shadow under the door. The twins sensed it first. Maya began waking at night, crying for no reason. Malia refused to eat unless Nene fed her herself. Even the housekeeper, Mama Tola, whispered Yoruba prayers under her breath while cleaning the living room. Marcus threw himself into work. Meetings, calls, board reviews. Anything to distract himself from the unease. He tried to hide the pressure building around the company, but the strain was visible in his shoulders, in the way he stared out of windows a little too long. Nene noticed. Every evening she tried to bring life back into the house. Family dinners, story time, laughter, but Marcus's silence grew deeper. One evening she found him in the study, sitting in the dim glow of a single lamp, his phone buzzing non-stop. The news headlines screamed from the screen. Adeyemi Group in turmoil, CEO's marriage under ethics review. Ex-wife speaks out, I was blindsided by a maid. Social media divided over Billionaire's secret wedding. He didn't look up when Nene entered. They've launched a board inquiry, he said quietly. They want me to step down temporarily until the ethics committee clears me. Nene stood still, her heart tightening. They can't do that. They can, he said. Sasha submitted emails, fabricated, obviously, but enough to make them question my judgment. She came closer. Emails? He nodded. Messages she claims were between you and one of my junior executives, suggesting you manipulated me for money. They're fake, but in business, image is everything. Nene's stomach dropped. She's really gone that far? Marcus's eyes were tired, the kind of tired that sleep couldn't fix. I told the board it's false. But they're scared, public trust, investors, all of it. They've suspended me for 30 days pending review. For a moment, neither spoke. The silence felt like a wound too deep for words. Then Nene said softly, I'm sorry. He looked up at her, his expression breaking. Don't you dare apologize. You did nothing wrong. She moved closer, placing her hand on his. I married a man, not a company. The rest we'll face together. Marcus squeezed her hand, but his eyes still held worry. You don't understand what Sasha is capable of. She won't stop until she drags us both through the mud. Nene tilted her head slightly. Then we fight her in a way she doesn't expect. He frowned. What do you mean? She's loud, Nene said. She wants a spectacle. But truth doesn't need noise, it just needs light. Let her talk. Let her scream. We'll answer with proof. Marcus smiled faintly. You sound like my lawyer. I sound like a wife who refuses to lose her home, she said, and there was steel in her voice that made him believe her. That night, while Marcus finally tried to rest, Nene sat in the living room scrolling through the articles. Her mind was calm, methodical. Sasha wanted to destroy them publicly, but there had to be a thread. Something to pull that would unravel all her lies. Then she saw it. A photo embedded in one of the news articles. Sasha outside a luxury hotel in Buckhead, arm in arm with a tall man in a gray suit. The caption read, Sasha Adeyemi seen leaving with business consultant Darius K. Nene frowned. She'd seen that man before. Not at the wedding, not at the office, but in one of the photos Marcus had found inside the anonymous envelope weeks earlier. The same man who had handed Sasha those legal papers. Her pulse quickened. Darius K. The supposed consultant, was the key. The next morning, while Marcus was on a call with his lawyer, Nene took the twins to preschool early, then made a detour downtown. She arrived at the hotel from the photo, Hotel Emery Plaza, and asked for Darius at the front desk. The clerk, a young woman with gold earrings, frowned slightly. Mr. Darius Kalu? She asked. Yes, Nene said. I'm his client. He was expecting me. The clerk hesitated, then lowered her voice. He checked out 2 nights ago. But he left something behind, a document envelope. Housekeeping was told to keep it safe in case he returned. Nene's heart skipped. Can I see it? I'm not allowed to release it unless you're on his contact list. Nene thought fast. She smiled gently. He's my husband's consultant. He asked me to pick up his project file. You can call his last client, Mr. Marcus Adeyemi. The number's on his record. The clerk hesitated again, then searched the system. Marcus's company number appeared. She dialed. Marcus answered, his voice calm but curious. Yes, this is Marcus Adeyemi. Good morning, sir, the clerk said nervously. A Mrs. Adeyemi is here to collect a file left by your consultant, Mr. Darius Kalu. There was a pause. Then Marcus said, yes, she's authorized. Please release it. The clerk nodded and disappeared behind the counter. Moments later, she returned with a sealed brown envelope marked private, contract copies. Nene thanked her, heart pounding as she walked back to her car. She tore it open the moment she sat behind the wheel. Inside were printed contracts, consulting invoices and emails between Sasha and Darius. But what made her blood run cold were the payment slips. Transfers from Sasha's personal account to Darius, totaling $50,000, dated just a week before the fake emails leaked. And at the bottom, one handwritten note in Sasha's familiar cursive. Make sure the board believes she played him. Once he falls, we take back everything. Nene gripped the paper, a mix of fury and disbelief. She called Marcus immediately. I found it, she said. Proof that Sasha hired him. She paid someone to stage those fake messages. Marcus's voice sharpened. Are you sure? I'm looking at it right now, Nene said. Every transfer, every email. I'm taking it to your lawyer. Send me photos, he said quickly. Don't drive anywhere else until I meet you. But before she could respond, her car window suddenly cracked. Crack. A small hole appeared in the corner of the windshield. Nene froze, heart pounding. Another sound followed, a faint metallic ping. She ducked instinctively, realizing what it was. A gunshot. She slammed the car into gear, speeding out of the parking lot, tires screeching. In the rearview mirror, a black SUV pulled out of the alley behind her. Her phone rang. Marcus again. Nene, what's happening? Her voice shook. Someone's following me. I think it's them, Sasha's people. Where are you? Downtown near Emery Plaza. I'm on my way. Lock your doors. Don't stop for anything. The SUV gained speed, its headlights glaring in her mirror. Nene swerved into traffic, heart hammering. She clutched the envelope to her chest with one hand and steered with the other. Rain began to fall again, thin silver lines on the windshield. The city lights blurred. She took a sharp turn into a crowded intersection, the horn of a delivery truck blaring behind her. The SUV hesitated for a moment, blocked by the flood of cars. Nene didn't look back. She drove straight toward the police precinct 2 blocks away, tires screeching as she braked in front of the entrance. She ran inside, drenched and trembling, clutching the soaked envelope. Someone's trying to kill me, she gasped to the officer on duty. And I have evidence. Please, you need to see this. The officer's eyes widened as she handed him the documents. Ma'am, slow down. You're safe here. We'll handle it. As Nene collapsed into the waiting chair, shivering, she clutched the wedding ring Marcus had placed on her finger just days ago. Outside, the black SUV turned the corner slowly, then disappeared into the rain. The story had taken a darker turn, one that would change everything. And Sasha's obsession was about to cross the line between revenge and ruin. The rain hadn't stopped by the time Marcus arrived at the police station. His car skidded into the parking lot, brakes screeching, headlights slicing through the downpour. He jumped out before the engine stopped running and sprinted inside, heart pounding like a war drum. Nene, he called. She stood up from a metal bench at the front desk, her clothes still damp, eyes red but steady. The moment she saw him, her body gave in to relief. He reached her in 2 long strides and pulled her into his arms, holding her as if the world might shatter if he let go. You're safe, he whispered fiercely. You're safe now. She nodded weakly against his chest. I didn't know where else to go. He tightened his grip. You did the right thing. The officer who'd taken her statement stepped forward. Mr. Adeyemi, your wife's lucky she came here when she did. We recovered her car from the street. It's got a cracked windshield and what looks like a bullet mark. Marcus's jaw clenched. Did you get the shooter? The officer shook his head. Not yet. Witnesses said they saw a black SUV leave the scene, no license plate. We're checking CCTV footage from nearby intersections. But there's something else. He lifted the brown envelope Nene had brought. The documents your wife handed over. If these are authentic, we're looking at fraud, bribery, and potentially conspiracy to commit assault. Marcus stared at the papers, anger hardening his expression. They're authentic. I recognize Sasha's handwriting. The officer nodded grimly. Then she's in serious trouble. Nene's voice trembled. She won't stop, will she? Marcus turned to her, eyes dark. Not until she's cornered. But that's about to happen. He turned back to the officer. I want full protection for my wife and children. Starting tonight. The officer scribbled notes. We'll arrange surveillance on your home and assign a patrol car in the area. But sir, I have to warn you, if this escalates, the best move might be to file a restraining order. Marcus didn't hesitate. File it? Immediately. Nene exhaled shakily, the weight of everything finally settling on her shoulders. How did she get here, Marcus? How did it come to this? He took her hands, his voice low and steady. Because I gave her too much power for too long. She lost control, and now she's trying to destroy everything that reminds her of what she threw away. They sat in silence for a moment before the officer returned with a clipboard. Sign here for the statement, he said. And keep this contact card. If she comes near your home, call us immediately. Marcus signed without hesitation, then guided Nene out of the station. The storm had thinned to a drizzle, and the wet streets reflected the yellow streetlights like a broken mirror. He opened the car door for her, helping her in carefully. As he drove, Nene leaned against the window, her reflection faint and pale. Do you think she'll be arrested? Marcus nodded slowly. If the police verify those transactions, yes. Darius will fold once they pressure him. He's not loyal, just paid. Nene exhaled. I don't care about revenge. I just want peace. Marcus reached over and took her hand. We'll get it. I promise. But deep down he knew peace was still far away. By the next morning, the evidence Nene found had already reached Marcus's legal team. His lawyer, Mrs. Caldwell, called early. Marcus, she said briskly over the phone, the documents your wife discovered are explosive. We've verified 2 of the transactions already, they match Sasha's bank account. We're preparing to file criminal charges against both her and the man named Darius Kalu. Marcus sat up. How soon? Within 48 hours, Caldwell said. But Marcus, be careful. When people like Sasha start losing control, they get unpredictable. He glanced toward the dining room where Nene sat feeding the twins breakfast. The girls giggled as she wiped cereal from their chins, completely unaware of the war raging around them. I know, he said quietly. That's what scares me. That afternoon, Nene decided to visit the twins' preschool to check on them. She wanted normalcy, something ordinary after days of chaos. The school was warm and bright, with drawings of suns and stick figures taped across the walls. The twins ran to her the moment she walked in, their tiny arms wrapping around her legs. Mommy, we made you a flower. Maya said proudly, handing her a paper cutout smeared with glitter. Nene smiled, tears stinging her eyes. It's beautiful. As she bent down to hug them, she caught sight of a woman across the street, standing near a silver car, sunglasses on, watching. Her breath hitched. It was Sasha. The woman didn't move. She just stood there, smiling faintly, her hands in her coat pockets. Nene's first instinct was to grab her phone, but before she could, the woman turned and slipped into the car, driving away. Nene stood frozen, heart pounding. When Marcus picked her up later, she told him. She was there, Marcus. At the school. He slammed the steering wheel. That's it. She's crossed the line. That evening, Marcus's lawyer arranged an emergency hearing for the restraining order. The judge reviewed the evidence and approved it immediately. Sasha was legally banned from coming within 300 feet of Marcus, Nene, or the twins. But Marcus knew a piece of paper wouldn't stop her, not someone like Sasha. 3 nights later, just after midnight, the mansion alarm blared. Marcus leapt out of bed, heart pounding. He grabbed the handgun from his nightstand and raced downstairs. The security lights flickered on, flooding the lawn in harsh white. He moved through the hallway, silent and alert, every step echoing. Nene followed, clutching her robe tightly, whispering, "The twins? They're safe," he said. "Stay behind me." The front door stood wide open. Rain blew in from outside. Marcus stepped out slowly, gun raised. The driveway was empty except for the faint glimmer of something metallic near the flower bed. He bent down and picked it up, a small flash drive soaked but intact inside a Ziploc bag. Taped to it was a note, scrawled in a familiar hand. "You can't hide the truth forever." Marcus's blood ran cold. He stormed back inside, locking the door behind him. "She was here," he said. "Sasha was here." Nene's voice trembled. "Marcus, what's on that drive?" He stared at it, the plastic glinting under the light. "I don't know. But whatever it is, she wants me to see it." They took the flash drive upstairs, plugging it into Marcus's laptop. A single video file appeared, timestamped 2 days ago. Marcus clicked play. The screen flickered, revealing a hotel room. Sasha sat on the edge of a bed, her face pale but determined. Marcus, she began, her tone eerily calm, if you're watching this it means I've lost everything. But you need to know one thing before you destroy me completely. Nene's hand flew to her mouth. The twins you love so much, Sasha continued, aren't just yours. Marcus froze. What did she just say? Sasha leaned closer to the camera, her voice steady and venomous. Ask Nene who their biological mother is. She knows. She's known all along. The screen went black. For a full 10 seconds, the room was silent except for the rain tapping against the window. Then Marcus turned slowly toward Nene, his voice hoarse. What is she talking about? Nene's face went pale. Marcus, I need you to listen before you react. He took a step closer, his eyes narrowing. Nene, tell me the truth. Her hands trembled as she met his gaze. I was going to tell you after the wedding, but I didn't know how. Marcus's voice cracked. Tell me what? She swallowed hard. Marcus, I'm not just their nanny. The silence was deafening. I'm their biological mother. The words fell like thunder, shaking everything around them. Marcus's breath caught. What did you say? Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, I carried Maya and Malia for you and Sasha. I was the surrogate. Marcus stumbled back, gripping the edge of the table for balance. You what? Nene's voice broke. I signed confidentiality papers back then. I was never supposed to contact you again. But when the agency called 2 years later saying you were looking for a nanny, I didn't know it was you until I walked into that house. She took a trembling step toward him. I didn't come to deceive you, Marcus. I stayed because I loved those girls before they were even born. Marcus stared at her, eyes full of disbelief and betrayal. You should have told me. I wanted to, she said through tears. Every day. But I was afraid. I thought you'd see me as a stranger, someone who used your pain. I didn't know you'd fall in love with me. He turned away, his jaw tight, voice low. Sasha knew. That's why she said it. Nene's voice broke into a whisper. Marcus, please don't let her twist this. Everything I did was for them. For you. But Marcus didn't answer. He walked to the window, staring out into the night, rain streaking down the glass like his thoughts. And for the first time since she'd entered his life, he didn't reach for her. He just stood there, silent, as thunder rolled again over the city, carrying with it the echo of a truth too heavy to ignore. The woman he married was the same woman who gave him his children. But now that truth might destroy them both. For a long time neither of them spoke. The storm outside had calmed, but inside the house, everything raged. The silence, the doubt, the hurt. Marcus stood by the window, his back to Nene, his reflection ghosted by rain and city light. His hands were clenched, knuckles white. Nene watched him from across the room, heart breaking with every second that passed. Marcus, she whispered, her voice trembling. Please say something. He turned slowly, his eyes unreadable. You're telling me you carried my children, and never said a word? Tears slid down her cheeks. I wanted to tell you so many times. But every moment felt wrong. You were healing from the divorce, from betrayal. I didn't want to reopen that wound. Marcus shook his head, disbelief flooding his voice. You let me think you were just the nanny. You let me fall in love with you, without telling me this. It wasn't a lie, she said softly. I didn't hide it to deceive you. I did it to protect everyone, especially them. Them? He repeated, his tone sharper. You mean the girls who now have to grow up knowing their mother married their father after working in their house under a false name? Nene flinched as if struck. I never wanted to confuse them, she said. When I carried them, I knew I wouldn't be part of their lives. But when fate brought me back into their world, I couldn't walk away. They needed me, Marcus. He turned back to the window. So you came back out of guilt? Her voice steadied. No. Out of love. The silence that followed was unbearable. Down the hallway, Maya stirred in her sleep, a soft whimper echoing faintly through the baby monitor. Nene's instincts kicked in, but when she tried to move, Marcus raised his hand slightly. I'll go, he said quietly. She froze, her breath catching. Watching him disappear down the hall, she felt the weight of everything crumble around her. When he returned, his face was softer, but still guarded. They were dreaming, he said. Malia kept calling for you. Nene wiped her tears. They always do when they're scared. Marcus sank into a chair, his eyes heavy. Why didn't you tell Sasha? She knew, Nene said quietly. His head snapped up. What? She found out before the divorce. That's why everything fell apart between you two. The clinic called her by mistake during one of her appointments. They mentioned the surrogate's full name in the report. She confronted the agency, but they refused to release my file. She never forgave me, even though I was just doing what I was paid to do. Marcus's hand went to his temple. So that's why she hated you the moment she saw you. It wasn't just jealousy, it was recognition. Nene nodded slowly. She saw me at the courthouse the day she filed the first custody papers. I thought she wouldn't remember. But she did. And when she realized you'd fallen for me, she lost control. Marcus rubbed his face. God. I swear, Marcus, she said through tears, I never meant for it to happen this way. I thought I could live quietly in the background, just care for the girls. But love has a way of finding what you try to hide. He looked up at her, his eyes wet but conflicted. And now the world knows. What do you think they'll say when they find out? The maid was the surrogate all along? It'll destroy your name, and the girls will be dragged into it. I don't care what they say about me, she said, voice firm. But I care what they say about those children. And about you. Marcus's chest rose and fell heavily. He reached for the flash drive again, replaying Sasha's video silently, as if trying to see what she wanted him to see. Her voice echoed faintly from the laptop speakers. You can't erase the truth, Marcus. You married your children's mother. You replaced me with her. He slammed the lid shut. She wants chaos. She wants us to fall apart so she can take the twins. She'll spin this truth until it looks like a scandal. Nene nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. That's why we have to face it, together. He stared at her for a long time, then said softly, I need time to think. Nene's lips trembled. I understand. She turned toward the door, pausing when she reached it. Marcus, no matter what happens next, I'll always love them. And I'll always love you. She walked out quietly, leaving him alone in the half-dark room. The following morning, headlines hit the internet like wildfire. Shocking twist, CEO's new wife revealed as biological mother of his twins. Secret surrogacy scandal. Did Marcus Adeyemi marry his surrogate? Social media divided, is it love or deception? Marcus's phone buzzed endlessly. Board members, journalists, even distant relatives he hadn't spoken to in years. Everyone wanted answers. He ignored them all. When Nene came downstairs, her face pale but composed, he handed her a newspaper silently. She read the headline once and folded it without a word. So it's out, she murmured. Marcus nodded. They're eating it up. Sasha leaked the story. Of course she did, Nene said bitterly. He studied her face for a moment, then said, there's only one way to stop her. She frowned. How? He leaned forward, eyes fierce. We go public ourselves. We tell the truth on our terms, not hers. Nene hesitated. Marcus, that could ruin your company. It's already halfway ruined, he said flatly. But if I hide behind silence, I lose everything that matters. I won't let her define our story. For a moment, Nene stared at him, unsure if he was angry or brave, or both. Then she nodded. If we do this, we do it honestly. No PR spin. No fancy statements. Marcus gave a small, determined smile. Exactly. That evening they stood together before a camera in their living room. The twins played quietly on the rug nearby, unaware that the world was about to hear their story. Marcus looked into the lens and began. Good evening, he said, his voice calm and steady. My name is Marcus Adeyemi. Some of you know me as a businessman. But tonight I'm speaking not as a CEO, but as a father and a husband. He paused, taking Nene's hand. There's been a lot said about my wife, Nene, and our family. Much of it has been cruel. But here is the truth. Nene was the woman who carried my children when my ex-wife and I struggled to start a family. Years later, through what I can only call fate, she returned to our lives, not as a stranger, but as someone who already loved our daughters deeply. He looked at her, emotion softening his face. I fell in love with her, not because of what she did for me but because of who she is. And if the world wants to judge us for finding love through pain, then so be it. We've survived worse. Nene's turn came next. Her voice was soft but steady. I never planned this, she said. But when I saw those little girls again, I knew they were mine in a way that went beyond blood. I cared for them before they were born, and I'll keep doing so until my last breath. To anyone who thinks love has rules, it doesn't. It just finds you. The video ended there, simple, heartfelt, unfiltered. They uploaded it to Marcus's verified account and waited. Within hours the post went viral. Comments poured in by the thousands. This is the realest thing I've heard in years. You can't hate love when it's honest. Protect this family. Sasha's gone too far. From pain to peace, God works in mysterious ways. The tide was turning. For the first time in weeks, the world saw them not as scandal, but as survivors. But not everyone was happy. Late that night, Marcus received a text from an unknown number. You think the world's on your side now? Watch what happens next. He stared at it for a long time, the unease crawling back under his skin. Sasha wasn't done. And the next move she made would strike where they were weakest, right at the heart of the family they were fighting to protect. The text from Sasha replayed in Marcus's mind like a siren that wouldn't turn off. Watch what happens next. It was both a promise and a threat. He didn't tell Nene right away. That night, he lay awake beside her, staring at the ceiling, the faint hum of the security system the only sound in the room. Every few minutes he glanced at the baby monitor. The twins slept peacefully, their small chests rising and falling. He couldn't let anything touch them. Not again. By morning he'd already called his head of security. Increase patrols around the perimeter. No one gets through without clearance, not even family. Yes, sir, the guard said. We'll also rotate plainclothes officers outside the preschool. Marcus hung up and finally exhaled, though the tension in his chest didn't ease. When Nene woke, she could tell he hadn't slept. Still worried? She asked softly. He nodded. Sasha's text. I don't trust what she'll do next. Maybe she's bluffing, Nene said, brushing her braids back. Marcus gave a grim smile. Sasha doesn't bluff. She burns. At first the day seemed normal. The twins went to preschool. Nene baked banana bread for the house staff. The morning light poured through the kitchen windows, soft and golden. But at 11:17 a.m., everything changed. Marcus's phone buzzed, a notification from his lawyer, Mrs. Caldwell. He picked up casually, but her tone made his stomach drop. Marcus, she said sharply, Sasha filed an emergency petition for custody, again. He blinked. That's impossible. There's a restraining order. She bypassed it, Caldwell said. She's claiming new evidence. She attached your wife's public confession from last night, the one about being the biological mother, and she's using it as grounds for reopening the case. Marcus froze. She's twisting it. Exactly, Caldwell said. She's alleging that your marriage was part of a fraudulent attempt to secure full parental rights. She's arguing that the surrogacy agreement was breached, and that Nene's maternal rights are now in question. In question? Marcus repeated, his voice rising. She's their mother. Legally it's complicated, Caldwell said. If the court decides the original surrogacy contract was invalid, they could open an investigation into custody arrangements. She's trying to get temporary placement until the matter is resolved. Marcus's throat went dry. When's the hearing? Tomorrow morning. He shut his eyes, gripping the edge of the table. Nene walked in just then, wiping flour from her hands. Marcus? What's wrong? He lowered the phone slowly. She's taking us to court. Her smile faded. Again? This time for the girls. The bowl slipped from her hands, crashing to the floor. The courthouse was packed the next morning. Press, reporters, photographers flashing cameras like vultures circling a wounded animal. Marcus and Nene arrived through a side entrance, escorted by security. The twins stayed home under Mama Tola's care, protected by 2 guards. Sasha was already there, perfectly styled, flanked by her lawyer. Her face wore a mask of calm confidence, but her eyes glittered with the cold satisfaction of someone who believed she'd already won. When she saw Nene, she smiled faintly. You look tired, dear. Trouble sleeping? Nene didn't answer. Marcus's hand tightened around hers. Don't talk to her, he muttered. The bailiff called the courtroom to order. Judge Thompson, a composed black woman with sharp eyes, entered. Court is now in session for the matter of Adeyemi versus Adeyemi, petition for emergency custody review. The judge's voice was steady but firm. I've read both parties' statements. Let's get straight to it. Sasha's lawyer, Mr. Harlan, rose first. Your Honor, new information has come to light indicating that the respondent's wife, Mrs. Nene Adeyemi, is in fact the biological mother of the minors in question. This was not disclosed during the original custody determination. We believe this represents a material breach of the original surrogacy contract and invalidates the custodial arrangement currently in place. The judge turned to Marcus's lawyer. Mrs. Caldwell, response? Caldwell stood calmly. Your Honor, the petitioner's claim is deliberately misleading. Yes, Mrs. Adeyemi carried the twins as a surrogate, but all relevant contracts were executed legally, witnessed, and filed. Her relationship with Mr. Adeyemi began years after those contracts expired. What we have here is not a breach of law, but an act of love between two consenting adults raising the children they both cherish. The judge nodded thoughtfully. Understood. I'll need documentation. We have it here, Caldwell said, handing a thick folder to the clerk. Sasha's eyes flickered. She hadn't expected them to be ready. The judge skimmed the first few pages. All records appear legitimate, she said. However, I'll hear testimony from both mothers before proceeding. Sasha stood first, her voice syrupy sweet for the cameras. Your Honor, I raised those girls from birth. I fed them, bathed them, held them when they cried. Then this woman, she gestured toward Nene, walked into our lives and started calling them her daughters. I can't stand by and watch another woman steal the children I brought home from the hospital. Nene's heart pounded, but she stayed silent. The judge nodded. Thank you. Now Mrs. Nene Adeyemi, please speak. Nene rose, smoothing her dress with trembling hands. When she began, her voice was soft but strong. Your Honor, I didn't walk into anyone's life to steal it. I carried those children when no one else could. I brought them into this world with love, not expectation. When I became their nanny, I never told them who I was because I didn't want to confuse them or cause pain to anyone. I loved them quietly, the way mothers do when no one's watching. She turned to the judge, tears glistening in her eyes. I didn't marry Marcus for money or fame. I married him because he loved me and because he loved them. I didn't take anyone's family, I helped rebuild what was broken. A murmur swept through the courtroom. Even some of the reporters lowered their cameras. Marcus reached for her hand under the table, squeezing it gently. The judge leaned forward. Mrs. Adeyemi, are you prepared to legally assert your biological connection to the twins? Yes, Nene said without hesitation. I'll take any test you need. Sasha's lawyer scoffed. Convenient. Only now she admits it. Caldwell shot him a sharp look. She's not hiding it, she's reclaiming her truth. Judge Thompson held up a hand. Enough. I've heard enough to issue an interim decision. The room went silent. Even Sasha's confident smile flickered. Based on the evidence presented, the judge said, this court finds no legal basis for altering custody at this time. The restraining order against Ms. Sasha Adeyemi remains in effect pending further investigation into the fraudulent evidence submitted last month. Sasha's face fell. Your Honor, you can't. I can, the judge interrupted. And I am. Furthermore, given the harassment and threats, I'm issuing an order for immediate psychiatric evaluation before any future petitions can be filed. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Sasha's composure cracked. You're taking my babies away. The judge's voice softened. Ms. Adeyemi, you lost them the moment you started using them as weapons. Security escorted her out as flashes from cameras filled the room. Nene stood frozen, barely breathing. Marcus turned to her slowly, eyes full of something deeper than relief, gratitude, love, and awe. It's over, he whispered. It's finally over. But as they walked out of the courthouse, Caldwell caught up to them, her face serious. Marcus, she said quietly, the criminal investigation into Sasha and that consultant is still ongoing. We've traced the payment trail, and it leads to someone else. Someone else. Marcus frowned. Yes, Caldwell said, lowering her voice. A man who's been moving funds from your company's charity account for months. Someone on your payroll. Marcus's pulse quickened. Who? Caldwell hesitated. Your head of finance, Mr. Victor Dane. He's been colluding with Sasha to sabotage you from within. Marcus stopped dead. Victor. Caldwell nodded. They weren't just after your family, Marcus. They were after everything. The victory in court had felt like light breaking through darkness. But now, a new storm was already forming on the horizon. The courthouse victory had barely settled before the next blow hit. Marcus felt it in his bones. Betrayal always came wrapped in familiarity. Victor Dane. His head of finance. His longtime friend. The man who'd toasted at his wedding, godfather to the twins. For years, Marcus trusted him more than anyone in the company. And now, the same man had been siphoning funds and conspiring with Sasha to bring everything down. As he sat in his office, his lawyer's words replayed over and over. They weren't just after your family, Marcus. They were after everything. He stared out at the Atlanta skyline, the late afternoon sun slicing through the blinds. The world outside looked calm, but inside his mind, thunder. The door opened softly. Nene stepped in. You've been in here all day, she said gently. He turned, eyes red with exhaustion. Because every time I think it's over, Something new comes for us. Nene closed the door and walked to his desk. Tell me. He slid a folder toward her. Victor's been laundering company money through Sasha's fake consulting projects. Caldwell found signed wire transfers and offshore accounts. He was her inside man. Nene's breath caught. How long? Nearly 8 months, Marcus said. While I was fighting to keep the company afloat after the divorce, he was helping her bleed it dry from the inside. Nene sank into the chair opposite him, shaking her head. So all this time it wasn't just about revenge. It was about money. Marcus nodded bitterly. Sasha was always ambitious. She didn't just want to hurt me, she wanted what I built. Victor helped her try to take it. He leaned back, rubbing his temples. I should have seen it. I was too distracted by everything else. Nene's gaze softened. Don't blame yourself for trusting someone you called a friend. Evil doesn't always come in darkness. Sometimes it smiles across your table. Marcus looked at her, a faint spark of strength flickering back into his eyes. Caldwell's arranging a forensic audit. If we can tie Victor to Sasha financially, it's over for both of them. Nene hesitated. And if he covers his tracks? Marcus's jaw tightened. Then I'll find the dirt myself. That evening, while Marcus buried himself in documents, Nene sat in the twins' room, tucking them into bed. Mommy, are you sad again? Maya asked, her small hand resting on Nene's wrist. Nene smiled faintly. No, my love. Just thinking. About the lady who shouted in church? Malia asked, voice sleepy. Nene blinked. You remember that? Malia nodded. She was mean. But Daddy said mean people go away when truth comes. Tears welled in Nene's eyes. She leaned down and kissed both their foreheads. Your daddy's right. When she left their room, she stood in the hallway for a long moment, the echo of their innocence filling her heart with both peace and fear. She knew Sasha wasn't finished, not until she was behind bars. And now, with Victor's betrayal exposed, she feared Sasha might lash out one final time before losing everything. The next day, Marcus called for an emergency board meeting at Adeyemi Group headquarters. Every executive sat stiffly around the polished mahogany table. Victor entered last, confident as always, a sleek smile on his face. Marcus, he said smoothly, I heard about the hearing. I came as soon as I could. I'm sorry you're going through all this. Marcus studied him carefully. Are you? Victor chuckled nervously. Of course. Why wouldn't I be? Caldwell stepped forward, a folder in hand. Mr. Dane, she said evenly, perhaps you should take a look at these first. She laid the documents on the table, bank transfers, offshore account details, timestamps. Victor's face drained of color. What is this? Marcus's voice was cold. Evidence. Victor laughed shakily. This is ridiculous. Sasha sent you these, didn't she? You can't trust anything from her. She didn't send them, Marcus said. The bank did. After we subpoenaed the records. Victor froze. Caldwell continued, there are multiple payments from your account to a company registered under Sasha Adeyemi's name. The last transaction, $50,000, was made 2 days before her attempt to stage those false emails. The boardroom went silent. Marcus rose slowly, his voice calm but lethal. You were my friend Victor. My brother. You sat in my house and played with my children. Why? Victor swallowed hard, unable to meet his gaze. Marcus, I didn't mean for it to go this far. Sasha said she just wanted what was rightfully hers. I didn't know she'd. You didn't know she'd what? Marcus snapped. Try to kill my wife? Destroy my company? Victor's voice cracked. I thought she just wanted leverage, to get back into the company. She said she'd pay me to help her recover funds she believed she deserved. Caldwell spoke sharply. Funds she didn't earn. Funds you helped her steal. Victor's hands trembled. Please, Marcus. You know me. I've made mistakes, but I never wanted to hurt your family. Marcus stared at him, the years of trust and loyalty turning to dust in his chest. You already did. He turned to the head of security. Escort him out. He's suspended effective immediately. As the guards approached, Victor tried to speak again. Marcus, please, she's dangerous. You don't know what she's planning. Marcus's tone was steel. Then you should have thought of that before you became her partner. They led Victor out as he shouted, she'll destroy you both. You think it's over, but it's not. The door slammed. Marcus exhaled slowly, feeling the first wave of relief. It's done. But Caldwell didn't look as certain. She closed the folder and said quietly, he might be right. Marcus frowned. What do you mean? Victor may have kept more than money for Sasha, she said. Our analysts found encrypted files on the company servers under his credentials. We haven't opened them yet. But whatever's in there, Sasha probably wanted it. What kind of files? Caldwell hesitated. Something labeled Project Nova. It's not part of any legitimate company initiative. The timestamps show it was uploaded the same week Sasha leaked those fake emails. Nene, who had been standing by the door, spoke for the first time. What if it's her backup plan? Something she can use if everything else fails? Marcus nodded slowly. Then we find out what's in it, tonight. Back at the mansion that evening, Marcus sat at his laptop with Nene beside him. The twins were asleep again and the house was quiet, the kind of stillness that hums with anticipation. He entered his credentials and accessed the encrypted files Caldwell had sent. A black screen appeared asking for a password. Try Victor's birthday, Nene suggested. Marcus typed it in. Access denied. He frowned. Maybe Sasha's name. He entered Sasha. Access denied. He leaned back, frustrated. It's something personal. Something only she'd think of. Nene's eyes narrowed. The girls? Try one of their names. Marcus hesitated, then typed Maya. The screen flickered. Access granted. Lines of data filled the screen, emails, call logs, and dozens of audio recordings. Marcus clicked one at random. Sasha's voice crackled through the speakers. Once Victor uploads everything, we'll leak the files. It'll ruin his credibility and destroy the company valuation. Then we move the assets into the new account. Marcus's heart dropped. Another recording played automatically, this time Victor's voice. And if he fights back? Sasha. Then we make sure he doesn't get the chance. I still have someone watching the house. He'll know when to move. Nene's blood ran cold. Someone watching the house? Marcus's eyes widened. She still has someone out there. He jumped up and grabbed his phone. I'm calling security. But before he could dial, the house lights suddenly went out. Click. Darkness swallowed the room. Nene gasped. Marcus. I'm here, he said, pulling her close. Stay behind me. From outside, the distant sound of footsteps on gravel. Then, a loud bang. The sound of shattering glass. Marcus instinctively pulled Nene down behind the desk. Get down? The motion sensors flickered back on, and for a split second he saw it. A shadow moving across the hallway. Another bang, closer this time. Nene's heart pounded. The twins? Marcus turned toward the door. Stay here. He sprinted down the corridor toward the children's room, his bare feet silent against the marble floor. The door was half open. He pushed it gently and froze. A figure stood by the window, silhouetted by moonlight. The twins were still asleep. The figure turned slowly, revealing a pale, tear-streaked face. Sasha. She held a small flashlight and a folder clutched to her chest. Her voice trembled. You left me no choice, Marcus. He took a cautious step forward. Put that down. You're scaring them. They're my babies, she whispered. And you took them away. You took everything away. They're not your weapons, Sasha. You've done enough. Her hand trembled. No. You don't understand. You weren't supposed to love her. The flashlight slipped from her hand, hitting the floor with a dull thud. Nene appeared in the doorway, her voice shaking but strong. Sasha, please. Don't do this. Sasha turned to her, eyes wide with fury and grief. You don't get to tell me what to do with my family. Just then red and blue lights flashed through the window. Police cars. Caldwell had already called them after decrypting the files. Sasha stepped back, realizing the end had come. Tell them I loved them, she said softly. Even if I didn't know how. The officers burst in seconds later. Hands where we can see them. Sasha didn't resist. She dropped to her knees, sobbing quietly as the handcuffs clicked around her wrists. Marcus stood frozen, watching the woman who'd once shared his life finally crumble to pieces. As they led her away, she looked back at Nene one last time. You win. Nene shook her head. No, Sasha. Nobody wins in a war like this. The door closed behind her, leaving only silence, and the soft sound of the twins breathing. Marcus turned to Nene, tears in his eyes. It's over. She stepped forward, holding his face in her hands. Now it is. They stood there together, watching the flashing lights fade into the night. For the first time in a long time, the house felt still, safe. But outside, the world that had watched their pain unfold would soon demand to know what came next. The dawn after Sasha's arrest felt different. For the first time in months, the Adeyemi home was silent in a peaceful way, Not the tense, suffocating quiet that comes after chaos, but the gentle hush of relief. Birds chirped beyond the garden wall. The sun's first light crept through the curtains, painting the living room gold. Nene stood by the window watching the police cars leave for the last time. Marcus came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "It's over," he said softly. She leaned into him. "You've been saying that for weeks," she murmured, her tone half teasing. "This time, I want to believe it." He smiled faintly, resting his chin on her shoulder. "Believe it? She's in custody, Victor's facing fraud charges, and the company audit cleared us. There's nothing left for her to destroy." Nene turned slightly, searching his face. "You're sure?" Marcus's gaze softened. For the first time in a long time, yes. But even as he said it, a faint unease lingered, the same kind that stays after a long storm, when the clouds have cleared but the memory of thunder remains. Later that morning, Marcus's lawyer, Mrs. Caldwell, arrived at the house. Her sharp professionalism was softened today by something like relief. "The DA's office confirmed it," she said, setting her briefcase on the coffee table. "Sasha signed a full confession. She admitted to hiring Darius and conspiring with Victor to sabotage your company. She's also agreed to psychiatric evaluation in exchange for a reduced sentence." Marcus exhaled slowly. "Good. But there's something else," Caldwell continued, flipping open a folder. "When we decrypted the last batch of Sasha's files, we found recordings, not of you, Marcus, but of her therapy sessions from 2 years ago." Nene frowned. "Therapy sessions?" Caldwell nodded. "They're hard to listen to. But you should hear one." She opened her laptop, pressed play, and Sasha's voice filled the room, fragile, stripped of its usual venom. "They don't understand. I loved him, but I couldn't give him what he wanted, not really. And when I saw the woman who did, I felt like my body wasn't mine anymore. Like my whole purpose vanished." Sasha paused, the sound of her crying faintly in the background. "I wanted to hate her, but part of me envied her. She carried the life I couldn't. Every time I looked at those children, I saw the ghost of what I couldn't be." The recording ended. Silence hung in the air. Nene's eyes were glassy. "She wasn't evil," she said softly. "She was broken." Marcus nodded slowly. "And broken people break others when they don't know how to heal." Caldwell closed the laptop gently. "Whatever she's done, she's paying for it now. But she wanted me to deliver something to you both." She pulled out a sealed envelope. The handwriting was Sasha's, neat, steady. Marcus hesitated before opening it. Inside was a short letter. "Marcus, I don't expect forgiveness. I've made a mess I can't fix. But before I disappear from your life, I need you to know, the twins were always my joy, even if I wasn't their mother in blood. I hope Nene can give them what I couldn't. Peace. Don't let them grow up hating my name. Let them remember me as someone who tried, and failed, but loved them all the same. Sasha." Marcus's voice broke slightly as he read the last line aloud. He folded the letter carefully and handed it to Nene. "She wrote this?" Nene asked. Caldwell nodded. "Last night. Before they moved her." Nene pressed the letter to her chest, whispering, "May she finally rest." Over the next few weeks, life slowly rebuilt itself. The company stabilized. Investors returned. Public sympathy leaned their way. The internet, always hungry for scandal, had moved on to a new story. Marcus withdrew from the board temporarily, choosing instead to spend time with his family. Mornings became simple again. Breakfast with the twins, school runs, laughter in the kitchen. One evening, as they all sat in the backyard watching the sunset, Maya tugged on Marcus's sleeve. "Daddy?" "Yes, princess? Why don't we see Miss Sasha anymore?" Marcus looked at Nene. She nodded gently. It was time to tell them. He pulled Maya onto his lap and said softly, "Miss Sasha went away to get better. She wasn't feeling well for a long time and she made some bad choices. But she loved you both very much." Malia tilted her head. "So, she's not mad anymore?" Marcus smiled faintly. "No, baby. Not anymore." The twins seemed satisfied with that. They turned their attention back to the sky, pointing at clouds shaped like animals. Nene leaned her head on Marcus's shoulder. "You handled that perfectly," she whispered. He smiled. "They don't need to know all the pain. Just the peace that came after." That night, after tucking the twins into bed, Marcus found Nene on the balcony, wrapped in a shawl, the city lights reflecting in her eyes. "Can you believe it's finally quiet?" she said. He chuckled. "I'm still getting used to it." They stood there in silence for a while, the night breeze soft against their faces. "Marcus," she said softly, When I first came into your house, I thought I was just there to clean up broken things, fix small messes, take care of your children. I never imagined I'd end up part of this family." He smiled, taking her hand. "You didn't just clean up the house, Nene. You rebuilt it. You gave it a heartbeat again." Her eyes glistened. "Do you ever regret marrying me? After everything we've been through?" Marcus turned to her, his gaze steady. "Never. Every storm was worth finding you." She smiled through tears. "Even the crocodile pond one?" He laughed, a deep, genuine laugh he hadn't made in years. "Even that." They both knew life would never be perfect. There would always be whispers, curious eyes, and people who didn't understand. But they also knew love had survived what hate tried to bury. And in that quiet night, beneath the hum of the city and the rhythm of the twins' laughter drifting from their room, peace, real, lasting peace, finally took root.